up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Tommy from Z&D Comics, and today I'll be reviewing Grayson, issue number 1. You're looking at the cover right now. I honestly really do like the art. Tim Seeley did really good at writing this, and today I'm going to be reviewing it. So, if you look to your right, you'll see a positives and a negative side. So basically, what I'm going to be doing for my reviews is go over the positives of the comic, then go over the negatives, and then pretty much just talk about the comic in general. So if you look to your right, you'll see the first positive is the art. I really do like the art. Now, specifically why I like the art is it has a James Bond feel to it, and now that Dick Grayson is a spy, it really flows nicely. So one thing I want to point out is in the panels you'll see that there are little square boxes, I guess you could say, like red square boxes highlighted in red. And if you didn't know, Dick Grayson has like a really good vision. Like if he's looking at someone and they're twitching, he knows exactly what's going on. They're like, okay, he's lying, he's nervous or something like that. He's really good at feeling the people's emotions. And the art really signifies that, because when there's our little square boxes in the corner, it will zoom in on like a person's leg or a gun they're holding, and you can kind of just tell like what's going through Dick Grayson's mind. So I really did enjoy the art, and that really increased the rating of the comic. The next one is the cliffhanger. So if you didn't read the comic, you're going to be spoiled, so leave right now and then come back and like don't come back at all, because I'm going to be spoiling the comic. Of course I am. You should have read it already. It's a great comic. So if you didn't know, the cliffhanger is that the creator or the present CEO, I don't really know his name, of Spiral knows the identities of Batman and Cyborg. Now that is ginormous. The only people who know who Batman is Lex Luthor, and then a few of the Bat family characters. Only a few, not all of them, you know? So it's really big that like the head guy of Spiral and their whole job is to like, you know, find the identities of people, know who Batman is. Because if Batman's identity were to be revealed to the world, he'd be fucked. I mean, he'd be so screwed. But with DC's Future End title, if you look 35 years into the future, it seems like people aren't really going to find out his identity. So, you know, that's continuity problems right there. But maybe something big is going to happen with this. He also knows Cyborg's identity, but whatever. I mean, I love Cyborg, but if he had his own title, maybe I would care a little bit more, if you know what I mean. So the next one is the Midnighter. Midnighter appeared midway through the comic. What's ironic about that is that Midnighter's a lot like Batman. Now, Midnighter has powers, so he isn't Batman. But Midnighter is really awesome because, one, he has powers, and two, he is going to be a recurring character in this series. Now, that's what my comic book store owner told me. He told me Midnighter is going to be appearing a lot more often, which is even more ironic because it's like Midnighter and Dick Grayson. And that's kind of like Batman and Nightwing, or Batman and Robin. Because Midnighter is a dark character that literally looks like Batman. And that's really ironic to see that he's actually going to be a recurring character in this series. So those three things are what I really did enjoy about the comic itself. There are three negatives. Now, just because there's a negative doesn't mean it's like going to completely decrease the comic. I'm just going to say three small nitpicking things I didn't really enjoy. The first one was the confusion. Now, this is actually pretty big. This is the only thing I didn't really enjoy about the comic, is that like the first couple of pages, I had literally no clue what the hell was going on. Like, the first page was, like, showing the origin of Dick Grayson literally in, like, 3 slides. Awesome. Then the next few pages were, like, what the hell is going on? Like, who's who? Like, for a second, I thought the blonde guy was actually Dick Grayson disguised as a blonde guy, you know? So, yeah, that was kind of confusing, but the second half of the comic was really good. Once, like, Midnighter came in there, and once we found out, like, I liked how they went from like dark to light. Like first you're on a train setting, and then you're in like a dark room and everything. So it was really confusing in the beginning, but that's pretty much all I could say. The second one is the writing. Now, like I said, Tim Seeley did really good at writing this, and I really liked that. But I thought it could have been a little bit better. Now, the only reason I think that is because I think when writers get into like the new series and everything, they kind of have to wait like to like the 5th or maybe like the 4th or 5th comic to really like understand the character. Now, he understands Dick Grayson because he did really good writing this. It's just, I felt like almost like he didn't know what to do for a second. Like in the beginning of the comic, like I said, it was kind of confusing. I just wish it could have been explained a little bit more. So the writing was great, but it definitely will get better, so I'm not really worried about that. The last negative is what's the story. Now, this is, like I said, really nitpicking, but what I mean by what's the story is what is going to be the villain. Who is the villain for this series? You know, like, the Spiral are good guys, but they're spies. Like, Dick Grayson is a spy. Spies kill people. They're good people, but they do it in the hard way. They take the upper path. Now, Dick Grayson is a mole, so I'm guessing it's not always going to be about Spiral. My guess, he's going to be in contact with Batman a lot. He's going to be talking to him, talking about what's going on with Spiral and everything. So I didn't really get a good feel for what is the story, like what's going to happen next issue. But I'm hoping that I can find out. Like, I hope there's a good villain, a good end point, like something that's like, wow, that's going to happen soon. Like, you know, I didn't really get that. Now, overall, I gave this a 9 out of 10 because I like where they're going with Dick Grayson. That's why I gave it a 9 out of 10, is because the spy way is something, one, I wasn't expecting, and two, it's pretty interesting. I mean, he's Robin, he's Nightwing, he's Grayson, he's Dick Grayson now. He has no identity, he's a spy. I mean, I just don't know, like, how long is this going to go on for? It's very... It's new. Like, I can personally say in like 25 years, if he's still a spy, I can be like, you know what? I read that comic back when the issue 1 started, before he was Nightwing, you know? Like, I can say that, so it's pretty awesome. So those are the positives and the negatives of the comic. Now, there's 2 more things I want to go over. One is the Hypnose. Hypnose is a power, or like something that all the spies at Spiral are given, and they can basically destroy someone through the mind. I don't know if they can do it once, if they can do it a million times, but they can basically control the mind, and we found that out a little at the end of the comic when a girl tries hitting on Dick Grayson. Dick's like, no, I can't do that. Not happening. So that's pretty funny, but yeah, so Hypnose is an interesting power. I hope that can get used a lot, and I like how Dick Grayson is really getting, like, people are impressed by how good he is at what he does. The last thing I want to talk about is Dick Grayson and a gun. If you look at the cover, zoom in there for a second, Dick Grayson is holding a gun. Now, Dick Grayson does not hold a gun in this comic. Now, Dick Grayson, he's a Batman character. Batman characters and guns do not connect, besides Red Hood, but that's a completely different story. Now, Dick Grayson will eventually be holding a gun. It's just the problem is, will he kill someone? I don't care if he holds a gun. I don't give a crap if he shoots it. Will he kill someone? Now, if he does, that would really separate him from the Batman mythos. But really, I don't know. We're just going to have to find out. But Dick Grayson and the gun, really nothing was figured out in this comic. I gave this comic 9 out of 10. Sound off in the comment section down below. Did you read this comic? If so, what were your thoughts on it, guys? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe for more comic book reviews.